throw Werner straight back in and let him prove that he's learned from what you said?
We've got no choice, Paul. Like, who else am I going to, like I say, I'm pulling kids out of school. I literally am, I'm getting notes from their teachers saying, young Lucas has missed another day of school, so, but that's what I'm saying. That was the reasoning for my sort of pointing it out last night, is we need TIMO. We need all of them. I can't, like I said, the normal norms are saying, well, you know what, if you have a poor game, there's a price to pay. It doesn't exist right now. We need everybody we've got. We've got 5 big games. We've got, like I said, a limited number of players in the squad. We need him. So what I want from him is the best version of himself, which when he's the best version of himself, he helps us. And I need everybody to feel that way and everyone to have that mindset. So, yeah, he's going to play. Of course he's going to play. But like I said, also understanding the situation we're in.
Probably answered my next question again. I was talking in Germany a few weeks ago that you might be recalled from his alignment. I take it you want him here to the end of the season and nothing's changed, obviously.
Right now, that is the furthest thing from my mind. Again, like I'm just not interested in what happens next. I'm interested in what happens now, because now is the time that we have an opportunity. Like I said, with these next sort of 5 games between now and kind of the new year, we can set up our season. We've got to, I think last night, as disappointed as I was, it's a great point for us because it sets us up for Europe. So we know back half the year we're going to make the knockout stages of Europe. So that's great. We've got 4 league games or whatever league games we have between now, where we can get our season back on track to get up the ladder and make an impact. We've got a massive Carabao Cup quarter-final to get to a semi-final. So right now is all I'm interested in. I'm not interested in anything else beyond that.
Well, after the game last night, you had a chat with Pedro Porro on the pitch, and I asked the nature of that.
Just again, just feedback, mate. It's like he's played a volley back to Fraser in the 92nd minute of the game. It's kind of, Fraser's unbelievable last night, and you're putting a teammate under pressure. It's about the context of what we're doing right now. I spoke on the weekend about, individual moments, desperation, giving away penalties in a big game where we're playing really well, that you're kind of allowing the opposition. Well, that was another moment, and it's just about, again, feedback to say, look, in this moment, we've got to make better decisions. We've got to be really calm. We've got to be clear-headed because, again, we've done so well to get back into a difficult tie. We're in a good position. Why would you put that in jeopardy? And that's my role, to give the players feedback.
Russell Martin been criticised for not getting enough points on the ball, and he's steadfast with the philosophy that he's done. Clearly got the promoted. What do you make of that criticism that he has received, because he's very much sticking to his principles, trying to play a certain way?
Yeah. I think, and I don't know Russell, but I think bizarrely he'd be enjoying it, mate, because I keep saying, look, he could play the way everyone wants him to play defensive. Is that guaranteed? I reckon if you number them up, the amount of teams that got relegated because they just play to survive is endless. At least he's trying to do something. He's making an impact. And you know what? People will notice. I remember having a chat to Vincent. We played him the back end of last year, and he adjusted the way they sort of went about things second half of the year, and he got a bit of a bounce. But the reason I think he's at Bayern Munich is people saw him as a person of principles. Yeah, you know what? He's going to back himself, and I think people notice that. Because otherwise, like I said, Russell can go into this season and try and survive. Southampton get relegated and he becomes anonymous, just another manager who was in the Premier League for a year. I think the way he's going about it, he could still make an impact with Southampton surviving. If they do in the way he does, the way he's viewed rises significantly. But even if he doesn't, I think people walk away and go, okay, he's a man of principle. He's got a clear idea about what he wants to do. That's what you want in leaders. You want identity, you want strength and belief, conviction. And maybe Southampton's not the right fit for what he's trying to do, but there'll be a club, and when that all comes together. So, I say I don't know him, but if I sort of give him any advice, mate, stick to your guns, because the alternative is you'll just be one of many, and whilst it may mean you don't get the criticism, over time you pretty much just vanish.
John. it's a battle. It's a pretty clear message. Have you got enough fighters in the dressing room as a whole? And probably more importantly, available for this weekend?
All we got is who's available. You know, that's the reality of it is. And yes, yeah. I mean, look, I think there's still been elements of that. Even last night, like I said, it wasn't like, because I can tell you, you know, for anyone who's there at the stadium, when we went 1-0 down, it was, you go, this is going to be hard. And there's a moment in there where you go, well, you know, have we got it in us to get something out of this game? And we did, you know, we did. So it does exist. And it's not, I'm not talking about going out there on the weekend and laying into tackles. And it's about belief and conviction, battling, I mean, our way, playing our football, having real belief and conviction. And as I keep saying, the most important thing for me is to, you know, take away any sort of cloud about what's required in this moment. You know, it's not about, you know, whether you're feeling well or you're feeling confident or you're in a good space or there's no time for that right now. Right, when you're in this kind of situation, everyone who gets an opportunity to get out there and play, whether it's 90 minutes or 1 minute, is, you know what, I'm going to put in a shift. Even if I have the worst game I've ever had in my life, I'm not going to stop trying to make sure that we get through this period.
Are you slightly annoyed that you have to tell your players this 18 months into your element? Should you know what's required?
No, because...
Under yourself, shouldn't they?
Well, no, not necessarily. And look, like I said, for the most part, I think they have. But look, it is an extraordinary situation we're in. It is. It's you know, the where we are squad-wise and the injuries we have and what we're asking our players to do. It's, you know, these are extraordinary circumstances. So in those moments, again, it's more of a reminder to the players. It's not that I don't believe that they, you know, that they don't understand or that I need to tell them. But I think in a game like last night, what the minimum requirements are is that you separate your own sort of self and what you're feeling in that moment just to contribute. Just go out there and contribute, because if you do that, you give the best version of yourself. Like I said, irrespective of the level of performance, then you're giving us a chance to overcome the situation we're currently in.
And you said that the comments about TIMO weren't specifically about him, it was a more broad thing. So are there other senior players that message is sort of, or was sort of inadvertently directed to as well? So it's about, if you're asking young players to step up in this moment, then you'd at least expect the same from them. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. Like I said, it's not just about TIMO, it's about the whole group and the situation we're in. So obviously I took TIMO off at half time, so I don't think I should have been in that position when we're so low on numbers that, you know, I've had to make a tactical decision with a senior player. So, and that goes for all of them, you know. It's no different. That's the situation we're in. Like I said, it's I understand why the focus is around TIMO, but it's us as a group right now. And again, I'll repeat myself, is that, you know, at the end of the game when we required that something extra, we got it, you know, and but we need that consistently now, between now and sort of, you know, we get to the new year. We need to make sure we get some players back that, you know, we need to have that mindset from everybody, you know, whether you're, because like I said, if the 18-year-olds can do it, there's no excuse for no one else to do it.
And you'll be returning, Tottenham at least will be returning to St Mary's for the first time since Antonio Conte made those remarks, which I think reverberated more widely than just Tottenham. Did at the time, did those comments reach you in you know, what you were doing? Did you see those comments, and also what did you make of them?
I was on the planet Earth at that time, and yes, I was well aware of it. And yeah, you kind of, you know, I think, you know, when a manager gets to that point that there's, you know, there's obviously some underlying issues, and you know, Antonio's a top manager. He's a world-class manager, and I think most of the time, I think all the time, when managers kind of do that, they're trying to get a reaction. They're trying to get some sort of impact on the team. I think, again, in difficult moments, what you want from your leaders is, you know, action rather than inaction, of just sort of letting things drift along. And he did it to try and get, I think, a positive impact on the group, one way or another. And I think we've all been in that situation as a manager where you feel, okay, this is time to send a message.
Thanks.
James, when your squad is so thin and you are, as you say, taking kids out of school, but you're also a manager that is renowned and wants your team to play intense, full-out style. When the squad is so thin, do you ever have to think about toning it down for fear of stretching it even further, or do you have to then remain committed to your principles? I just wonder, in the situation we're in, where your balance lies.
It's a great question. It's a fine line, It's how much do you dilute, for what the situation you're in, and what I always think about these things. What's the long-term effects of it? Because it may relieve some short-term pain, but if that means that people lose belief and conviction in what we're trying to do because we've found a alternative path that alleviates that short-term stuff, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that'll get us to where we want to. I've always, in difficult moments, thought, if you stick true to everything you've said from the first day and you get through it, then there's nothing holding you back. If you change paths, then what's to say players are not going to then question, or even staff are then going to question further down the track, well, that worked back then, why don't we change? This doesn't work, let's change again, and then you get into that cycle. So it's a fine line. You're always trying to adjust it with your current circumstances, and certainly with us, we've got some challenges. But I always try and maintain that fine line to where you're not searching for something that's going to alleviate things short term, but it's going to affect you long term.
So even though the fear of you might be thinking they're going, keep like this, might lose another player, then what be for you? You just go, no, it's more important for me to. That's kind of where I sit. If you're asking which end of the spectrum I sit, that's the end of the spectrum. Again, that doesn't, because then people just say, oh, he's inflexible, he doesn't have a plan B. It doesn't mean you don't make it sort of slight adjustments, but in terms of where I sit, that's where I sit. I think in tough times, you double down on your principles, because if you get through, as I said, there's nothing to fear ahead of you.
Okay, we'll finish with George at the back, please.
I had Luke Bergwell earlier in the season had a little bit of a tough moment, particularly against us right away. For the last week, every time he's come on, he's played a number 6 role, he's done really well. You sort of showed your hand there. Is he going to be the guy that plays 6 at Southampton? How pleased that you've been with this last week that he's come on?
Yeah, and look, and that's not unusual. He's 18. You throw any 18-year-old Galatasaray away, and I'll be very surprised if they take to it like a duck to water. So, but that's part of the process. Expose them to that, and then see how they react. And he's reacted really well. He's understood that it's a big game, big atmosphere. I've got to do things a little bit differently. He's adjusted. He's working hard at training, and I think he's made a real impact in the last 2 games. He's come on with his calmness and better understanding of the way we want to play, and that's what you want in 18-year-old. It's progress, and it's not going to all be perfect. It's not going to always. He's still going to have difficult moments because he's 18, and it's the same with Archie. But I still think when you see them within that process of how they tackle those challenges and how they then use them as a vehicle to improve, it's exciting. So. He's like I said, he's done really well. Obviously, with Biss and Rodri out, he's definitely in the picture for us to use on the weekend. He'll definitely play whether he starts or he comes on. Like I said, we've got limited numbers in there anyway. But really pleased for him that as I said, with him and Archie, we've got 2 18-year-olds who are already feeling like they can contribute in a meaningful way, which I think is as I said before, is really exciting.
And just go back to Tottenham's last trip to Southampton. I mean, Antonio said what he said. Would you sort of personally say comments like that and then leave the ship, jump ship? Is that sort of, or would you be the one that, if you're going to say that you want to steer the ship to
Look, I don't think it's fair on me to comment. Like Antonio, like I said, he's a world-class manager, mate. He's got his own, way of doing things, and he's got his own reasons for doing that. yeah, I'm here. I'm in for the fight. We're in a fight, that's for sure. For better or worse, I'm not going anywhere at the moment because everything's still in my power and my responsibility. You know, nothing. I still have a real kind of, you know, real desire to get us through this stage so that, you know, people see what's on the other side. You know, I think my resolve and determination hasn't wavered one little bit, mate. I love a fight, love a scrap. I love being in the middle of a storm when everyone doubts, and because I know what's on the other side if you get through it. My job is to get through it.
Thank you very much.